Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your girl, Pretty Six the Brand, aka Stunner Assassin. And of course, you all, we are back for another review of Basketball Wives Season 12, Episode 10, which is titled Go Deadbeat Go. Before we jump into our review, I first want to give a shout out to my Assassins family for showing the love, showing the support over here on the channel. And Assassin families, we are doing it and we are growing and just becoming a huge family, and I'm so thankful and glad. And but baby, we have now went from 230 to baby 234. Baby, the viewers and the numbers are going up. I just really want to thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, telling a friend to tell a friend, helping your girl achieve her dreams. I truly appreciate it. But also, Assassin family, before we get into this review, I got some tea yesterday off of Twitter about that there's not even going to be a season 12 reunion. So I can't wait to see how our ending of Basketball Wives is going to go. But before we get to that point, let's just go ahead and jump into our review of episode 10, which is titled Go Deadbeat Go. And baby, let's see what the girls is doing in Hawaii. Because it's game day. It's game night. What's T-Boo? So yes. We are on day two and we are still in Hawaii on the trip. And so you guys, we opened up with Miss Jennifer going to Miss Brandy's room. And baby, Miss Jennifer comes in and Miss Brandy's like, "Girl, are you okay? What's wrong?" She's like, "Is your bag?" And Miss Jennifer shares with Miss Brandy. She's like, "No, girl, that's not it. I feel a little bit of tension." She said, what just happened and occurred at the dinner last night, which she was referring to about what happened between Miss Chantel and her mother, Miss Jackie. And she was like, it's not a good feeling. It really just gave her a lot of discomfort, which watching it does give a lot of discomfort because this is a mother and daughter and they're having like this big blow up and big blowout on the screen. But like I said, while Miss Jennifer is there, she's also sharing with Miss Brandy that after the whole explosion happened between Chantel and Miss Jackie, she went to Miss Jackie's room and she was trying to talk to Miss Jackie to see like is there anything that they could do. And Miss Jackie expressed that the only way she would talk to her daughter is on her talk show or on her YouTube, but it's not really saying just like on her talk show or her YouTube. She's just like she's not doing this for entertainment. And I can get that. And Miss Brandy is like, well, seeing how this whole situation is playing out and how it all started and just seeing everything that's happening and going on, she said she wasn't expecting all this to go on and occur. And she really hates that this has happened because now it's became something bigger. So y'all, we go from that scene to our next scene, and this is our girl Miss Chantel, and she is in her room and she's with her son. And baby, they having a little mother and son time. But while she is putting him down, she then picks up her phone and she calls her brother. And her brother's like, "What's going on, sis?" And she's like, "Well, let me just tell you about what happened last night." And so she tells her brother about the altercation that took place between their mom and her. And she's like, "You know how I am. I'm not finna leave this alone." She's like, "I'm not until I get the answers." And he was like, "Well, this really should have been left alone months ago." And I'm in complete agreement with me because why are we doing this on television? We should not be doing this on television. And Miss Chantel is just expressing herself, and her brother is listening. And that's what I say. He's the listening ear to all this madness that is occurring and happening. But then, y'all, we go from that scene to our next scene, and it is our girl, Ming, Miss Jackie, Denise, and Miss Jennifer. And baby, the ladies is finna go have them some fun. Bing said she sent the ladies on 2 different trips today after everything that occurred. So, baby, we finna see what kind of tea they finna get into. And so we see the ladies in the van, they're on the ride, and Ming says, I've never seen Jackie this quiet. And baby, the ladies start cackling, and Jackie shares with the ladies that she's just taking it in and she's enjoying herself on the trip. And then they get into about what happened between her and her daughter at the dinner table. And Jackie quickly expresses to the lady that, "Look here, Jackie was like, I just wanted everything to go on and move on peacefully. She's like, I'm not here for like no drama or nothing like that. I want everybody to have a good time. And Denise then asked Miss Jackie a question about, how does she feel about the situation? And Miss Jackie just quickly explains and answers Denise's question. And then we get an interview scene where Denise is like, well, Miss Jackie is fake and it's kind of hard to watch her be fake like this day in and day out. And I'm just like, Denise, girl, what's tea? But anyway, as we go from that scene into our next scene, it is our other group of ladies. So it is Ty, Miss Jennifer, I mean not Miss Jennifer, Miss Evelyn, Miss Chantel, and Brittany, and they are going to the beach. And Ty was like, I wonder what my ex planned for us today. And everybody's like kind of kick in. And I'm just like, ain't no telling. But it does look like whatever y'all finna get into, it's gonna be fun. So, as the ladies, are getting on way of what Miss Evelyn, I mean, not Miss Evelyn, what Ming has planned for the group, y'all, the ladies get out on a boat and they going out to like where the surface be. And baby, the instructor tells them it's nothing but basically teamwork, which is good to see. But still, all in that same scene, we then jump back to Ming, Miss Jackie, Denise, and Jennifer. And baby, come to find out, Ming has the ladies going 10 feet underwater to do like scuba diving to like see underneath the sea, which I think is really dope and really very neat. But while they're on their ride and on the way there, they do get into the conversation, and Miss Jackie is like making videos and you know recording them, and she was like letting everybody's partners know, significant others know she got them. And she was like, she sent it to her daughter, and she said if she does not make it back, she loves her. And then all the ladies kind of get quiet, and we get into the nitty gritty about like about what happened at the table, about, Miss Jackie asking the ladies, how do they think she feel, how do they think she feel about her mother, about her being a mother to Chantel in this whole situation? And Miss Jackie said, I gave birth to her, that's my daughter. And, everybody sharing their pieces, like Miss Denise, Ming, Jennifer, but Miss Jackie's like, at the end of the day, her family ain't part of no circus. Ain't none of this going on. And she said, also in the interview scene, she was like, when the shoe is on the other foot, none of this is being said. None of this is, nobody want their family messed with and involved in a lot of this. And I'm just like, yeah, Miss Jackie really got a point because we couldn't do this with nobody else. If their child was on this show and they were having like an issue, we would not be able to. And this is why I keep telling everybody, like, if I was on Basketball Wives, I'm telling you, I would be riding for Miss Jackie because all this will be going on. But then y'all, we go back to the beach with Ty, Miss Evelyn, Brandy, and Brittany. And the ladies are done doing their activities and now they're just sitting out on the beach and they are finna start having some conversation. And so, like I said, we're on the beach, we're having conversation. We see Miss Evelyn and Miss Brandy standing off to the side, and Brandy shares with Miss Evelyn about what Miss Jennifer told her, about what Miss Jackie said the only way she would have a conversation with her daughter. And then y'all, after that, we see Miss Evelyn walk over and Miss Brandy walk over to the group. They sit down. They ask Miss Chantel how she doing, how she feeling. And baby, Miss Chantel and Miss Evelyn get up and they go have a one-on-one conversation. And first, Miss Evelyn tells her, about the whole thing about whatever Denise was saying and the information she was saying back to her. She was like, that she don't care nothing about what Denise said because she said that ain't got nothing to do with her. She said, if anything, she needs to mind her business. But she says she wanted to pull Miss Chantel to side because she needs to let her know about what her mother said about, the only way she would have a conversation with her was on her show or on her YouTube. And I'm just looking like, why would we be telling her this right now? And, Miss Evelyn shares it with Miss Chantel. And Miss Chantel gets very upset. You can see the rage, you can see the anger, and you can see the frustration. And baby, I'm just like, this is not the time. Why was we telling her this now? Why is we even involved in this? Okay, y'all, and it's just getting heavy and it's getting very intense. We gonna close out from this scene and we're gonna go to our next scene because baby, it's gonna get messy in Hawaii. So yes, y'all. As we get into our next scene, it is our girl Ming, Miss Brandy, and Miss Evelyn. And baby, this is after everyone's activities and everything has happened and occurred. They go sit down and they go talk to Ming. And basically, Miss Brandy and Miss Evelyn, said they had fun on the activity that Ming had set up for them, but um they was gonna get into the tea. So Miss Evelyn starts to spill, and she shares, that she had a conversation with Miss Chantel about what Miss Denise was going back and telling her. But not only that, she was like, even Miss Chantel said she was shocked that Miss Denise was trying to call her an op, Miss Evelyn an op, and like what's going on. She said she was even taken back, and then even Miss Evelyn also expresses that she shared with Miss Chantel about, about what her mother said and about only talking to her on YouTube or on her show. And baby, it gets really quiet and you can tell tension is really thick. But then also too comes into play of Denise's like loyalty. Is she like low key messy? And just as a viewer watching, just as a Basketball Wives fan or commentator, I would have to say Miss Denise is basically filling the shoes of a former Basketball Wives member that was on a when the entities were separate, and it's just like I don't. I don't know if Miss Denise being Miss, and I just think her opinion into the group is very strong. She has a lot to say, and she's not going to hold back on her commentary. But y'all, anyways, we go from that scene to our next scene. Baby, it's Miss Jennifer and Miss Chantel, and Miss Chantel is standing out on her balcony. And Miss Chantel says, I have a question, Miss Jennifer. I'm just asking you because she's like, I like to come to the source. I like to get my information. And she was like, I just want to know, is it true what my mother said to you? And Miss Jennifer then expresses and shares with Miss Chantel that, she had a conversation with her mom and about what her mom said and about her saying that, she would only talk to her on her YouTube or her talk show. But then she also shares with Miss Chantel that Miss Jackie expresses that she has rights and legal rights to her grandkids. And why did Miss Jennifer say that? I will not understand because then Miss Chantel really goes off. And baby, that's how we end that scene, but y'all. As we go from that scene to our next scene, baby, it is another dinner night, and baby, of course, all the ladies are there. Now, Miss Chantel has not made it to the table, but everyone else is sitting around. Conversation is being had. Miss Jackie is talking to Miss Evelyn. She's asking the ladies about how was their day, how was their adventure, did they have fun doing their activity, and it's all laughs, it's all good vibes, it's all good energy right now. There is no mess, there is no chaos. And then we get into the conversation that was had on the boat. And they also get into about, about how Miss Evelyn feels about Denise and about her part that she takes in the group. And baby, it's getting really tense at the table. Everyone's looking around and Miss Denise is looking at Miss Evelyn like, okay, girl, you're saying a lot. You got a lot to say. And, Brittany, of course, got her girl, Miss Denise's back. And baby is defending. And baby, the ladies are just ready and strong. Well, and Miss Denise is having at it. The tide's cracking up. And then, baby, guess who comes join us at the table, baby? It's Miss Chantel. And, baby, energies quickly shift and change. And you can tell it's finna get hot at this table. And baby, it's just so then after, Miss Chantel rides the table, we get into the conversation because Jackie says, did y'all know what Ming did to me today? And Ming was like, what I do? And Jackie's like, you cussed me out. And then baby, things quickly went awry because Ming was like, well, Jackie, I really didn't cuss you out. I was just telling you, like, every time we try to get you to have a conversation with your daughter, you always try to walk out the room and we trying to get to the resolution or get it resolved. And she was like, you were dancing and taunting me. And, Miss Jackie is just like, okay. And the girls are having a lot to say. They saying a lot. And Miss Jackie's like, I'm not doing this. And Ming's like, well, I just don't feel like you're accountable when it comes to having a conversation with your daughter. And she said, when you hear Chantel's side of the story, it's given you got to be team Chantel. And baby, Miss Jackie was so done. She gets up and walks away from the table. And then as she's getting up and walking away, Brittany starts to chant, go, deadbeat, go, which is how we got our title. And I'm just looking like, whoa, this is somebody's mama, and their daughter is holding your hand. I understand however she may personally feel about her mother, but my thing is this: we're not gonna call my mother a deadbeat. I don't care what you personally feel about our relationship, what personally goes on, and it's not me, having no beef with nobody. I'm just saying, as a human being to another human being, I don't think we should have. I don't think you should be doing that. I don't think that's like a situation. I think this situation should be resolved between Miss Jackie and Chantel, and not the whole group. And Miss Jackie's walking away and she's twerking, and baby Miss Jackie doing better than what I would have did. Cause girl, ain't no way. I probably would have. I probably would have walked away too, but I would have walked away on a good note, on a high one. And baby, we go from that moment, y'all, to our next moment. And so, yes, y'all, as we get back into this scene, into the night, we get back to this table, and Ming suggested that Ty go talk to Jackie because Jackie loves Ty. And, Brandy and Ty gut up and they go looking for Jackie. And we get to this table, and Miss Chantel's like, oh, so you want to talk to me on YouTube, but you don't want to talk to me here in front of everybody. But that's crazy because you want to have a conversation with me, but you don't want to have a conversation with me right now. And she's very angry, and you can feel and you can see the frustration and the anger. And it's Ty and Brandy go look for Miss Jackie. They end up going to Miss Jackie's room, and Miss Jackie walks in and they speak. And she asks is Ty, did she eat? Ty was like, no, I didn't eat. She's like, came get you so we can go eat and we can talk. And Miss Jackie said, I'm not doing this, Ty. And she's like, Brandy, y'all can talk. She's like, I'm not doing this. I don't understand why so many people act like they want to be involved and concerned about my family. She's like, ask people to step down. They're not stepping down. She's like, I'm not going to do this with y'all. And I respect Miss Jackie wholeheartedly. Like, I'm not going to do, because this ain't for the TV. This is not for y'all. Whatever she had with y'all and amongst the group, that's with y'all. But whatever we got going on is not for television. I understand. I get that completely. Now I know there's gonna be some people like, oh, well, you just want to say, no, I'm not one side. No, I can see both sides of this and how this situation is because you can tell it has a heavier effect and a stronger effect. And then we go back to the table, and Miss Jennifer and the ladies, asks, what is this whole custody of grandparents? And it's like basically to have the right to see your grandchildren. And Miss Brittany goes into that she's having this same situation going on with her mother, and that she's going to court next month. And baby, it's just a lot of emotions. And Miss Brittany was like, it's a control tactic. And Miss Chantel is very angry, like very, very angry. As we come back to this table and they have a conversation, and baby, they're discussing about what they're gonna do tomorrow and about if Miss Jackie's gonna come and whose side is everybody on. And everybody kind of like voted, that Miss Jackie don't come on the boat with them. And then we have a moment with Miss Brittany and Brandy, and baby, it is getting real testy at this table. Like the girls is not letting up, and just a lot of tea, and questioning why did Brittany, change religions and what was it for? And then Miss Evelyn brings up Miss Brittany's then husband, but now ex-husband's name in this conversation. And then Ming asks about his other wife. And I believe when you are in that religion, you can have multiple wives. I'm not for sure. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up. I'm gonna have to do some digging, see. But the whole conversation comes about, and then we see Brittany and Chantel and um, Miss Denise and baby. The ladies are also in their van and they're riding, and of course they're having their own separate conversation. And then, baby, we get here to the boat that Ming has for the ladies to ride on today, and baby, everybody gets out and they speaking to one another, and then they see Miss Jackie, and everybody trying to figure out how is Miss Jackie there? How she know they was riding on the boat? Like what's going on? And even Miss Chantel said, "What she do? She got the drop on her. She got an air tag. Like that was cute. That was a funny little moment from Miss Chantel." And Miss Jackie walks in. She's like, she hugs on Miss Evelyn, and she hugs. Um, I think when someone say Miss Brandy, and baby, she was like, "Y'all ain't speaking today. What's up? What's up?" And like, everybody real. And I'm with Miss Jackie. Like, look here, I ain't on none of that, baby. Let's get on this boat. And so as they get on the boat, Ming gives a speech, and she tells the ladies, "Let's have fun. Let's have a good day." Very positive speech. Then Ty comes in behind her and also gives a speech. And baby, it's good vibes, good energy. Baby, they get on the boat. A few moments later, conversation starts to come up about, Miss Jackie and Miss Chantel being on the boat, asking Miss Chantel how she's doing, how she's feeling. And you can tell like the group is trying to get them to have a conversation. And Miss Jackie is like got seasick. She can't do it with the ladies. They done gave her medicine and they having this conversation. She has gotten up and walked to the other end of the boat because they're trying to get this conversation started. And Miss Jennifer comes and sits down and she talks to Miss Jackie and she says, I think this is a very beautiful place. I think I should have the conversation right now. And Miss Jackie shares with Miss Jennifer, like, no, my daughter looks very beautiful right now. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. We're just gonna have us a good time on a good ride. And I like that. Really positive, very beautiful, very sweet. Just the moment that we needed. And then y'all, as we go from that scene to our next scene, it is Miss Chantel and she's on the beach getting some promotional pictures for her son. And she is having a one-on-one with Ty because, as they were on the boat, they found out Ty was who invited Miss Jackie. And she said she just wants to have a conversation with Ty and see, whose side is she on. Like, she's trying to understand. And they have a conversation. And Ty was like, she mad with me, but she really do act like her mama. Like, she got finger point, hand gestures, everything. And it's just given very intense, but very like. And so, y'all, we go from that scene to our next scene. And, baby, it is the ladies, and they are having another dinner, day 3 in Hawaii, final game. And everybody's sitting down, everyone's looking beautiful. And at the table is Miss Chantel, Ming, Brandy, Miss Evelyn, um, Brittany, Jennifer, and Denise. And you know, it's very interesting. Miss Jackie is not there. So yes, like I said, while we're at this table, conversations are being had, and it is just shared at the table. That since Miss Jackie is not coming, she suggested that they have a slumber party in Hawaii after the dinner because she said, baby, every time she got to the dinner, she'll never get a chance to eat. So she was like, let's have a party in Evelyn and Ming's room. And baby, then they get into the conversation about what took place that day, about how they're gonna, maneuver around this, and if it's the perfect place for Miss Chantel and Miss Evel, I mean, and Miss Jackie to talk. And Miss Chantel was like, also, we all cool with Jackie. That's what it is now. She's like, I just want to know. And, then we start to get into the discussion about things being swept under and how everybody should maneuver around. And baby, when that door got kicked open, Ming says, well, if we got something to talk about, we got to talk about like you, like Miss Evelyn and Brittany and the girls having an issue with her, or Brittany cussing out Miss Brandy, and whole lot of things. And then Ty says, oh, and about like you in a relationship, you got a whole boyfriend, got his name on your arm. Baby, everything is getting wild at this table. When I say it's Ming wants to talk about things. Ming's like she was not talking about this because she was not expecting all this to come up and come about. And then, baby, while it is happening and going down at the table, it then goes left because Brandy starts to express herself and about her issue with Brittany. And baby, before things could even really get to going, Denise jumps in. And then, baby, why she do that? Because then, girl, Evelyn jump in. And the girls is going at it at this table. Everybody's sitting here. I see hands. I see knuckles. Everybody's angry. It's a lot happening. It's a lot going on. Miss Denise is looking like girl, what? WCF, like girl, what? And she says, like, what's the issue, Evelyn? And she's like, you need to stay out of it. You need to let them talk. You don't need to be involved in it. And she's like, you don't need to have Brittany back. And then, oh my gosh, y'all, it's got left because then even Ming jumps in. Y'all, this is getting juicy. Oh my God. And baby, they even asked me Chantel, like, you need to say something because these two is always going to bat and coming to bat for you, and it's all these issues. Baby, it gets really heated at this table. Brandy and Brittany start to go at it. Ming's like, I'm done. I'm finna get up. I'm walking away. And baby, it didn't get hot. It then became a very sticky situation in this group. So basketball wise, what's tea like? Y'all, it's been your girl, Pretty Sexy Charlotte Brand, aka Stoner the Assassin Family, Basketball Wives, Season 12, Episode 10. Go, Debbie, go. I wasn't ready. Was y'all ready? Assassins, y'all be safe. Y'all be careful. And until next time, much love and care. Bye, you guys.